I'm Sarah. I read as Sora the Intuitive for Sky Messages by Sora. I am a tarot reader who specializes in past life readings. I also teach and mentor the tarot. I have two journals, one for learning the tarot and one for more learning yourself and deepening the connection with your deck. That one's a collaboration with Killer Pancake, who makes a couple of the decks I'll be reviewing. The reason I started this channel, and specifically this series, the tarot review series, is that I really want people to be able to have a connection. I want anyone who wants to do the tarot to be able to learn it. And a lot of times people get really frustrated because the first deck that they start using, they don't really connect with. And so I'm hoping that instead of getting frustrated or spending a lot of money on decks that they then realize they don't want, people can sort of start to learn what their style is, what theme they're looking for, what kind of imagery works for them, and help people find the right decks for them. I do believe that if there is a tarot deck out there, there is an audience for it. And if there is somebody who wants to learn, then there's definitely a deck for them. So this won't have star ratings. This won't be about what's good and bad. It'll be about the details, such as the guidebook, a level that it's good for, like basic to advanced. It will be, how close it is to the Rider-Waite or the Tarot de Marseille, or the Thoth for those who prefer that. And it will just give people a look and hopefully help them start to begin their journey. Or for those of us who have been on their journey for a while, but are thinking about new decks and testing out different things, give them a preview. So there are some of the decks behind me, but if there are any you're interested in, let me know. And let's get started. For today's tarot deck review, we are looking at the Wildwood Tarot. And this comes in this really nice box. Gorgeous. Illustration, really beautiful, very glossy, very sturdy. So if you only work with your deck in one place, or you need to pack it up in somewhere like a laptop bag, this is really great. I do tend to carry multiple decks on me at once, and so I personally have moved it to its own little carrying case, but I also no longer need the guidebook for it. And so if you're sticking to one place or you're only going to be carrying around one deck, this is great. And if you're still using the guidebook, which you're going to want to do for a while with this deck, then highly recommend as well. Inside, you've got the cards and the guidebook. The guidebook is gorgeous. Really well done. Illustrations for every card, really in-depth descriptions for every card, and that is really important because there are places in terms of meaning where they approach things from a different angle than you are probably used to. Really, most traditions will find that this is a little bit different, and there's nothing wrong with that, especially when you look into where they're coming from, being that they are coming from the background of the Celtic and the traditions there. Their meanings make sense. They fit very well into the theme of this deck. They are very well done. But it is not a deck that I would learn the tarot on. So if you're a beginner, you might want to consider starting somewhere else, or especially if this is one you're really drawn to, just making this the deck that you're going to dedicate yourself to for a while. But it is a really great guidebook. It goes into depth on how you use it, where they come from with the Wheel of the Year, which shows up in all of these reading points. And it's really helpful. It's a great guidebook. The cards themselves are solid, very sturdy, very beautiful. The backs are nice and simple. They've got the Celtic knots there. They're easy to shuffle with. They're thick, but that doesn't get in the way of anything. So they're really nice to work with. Right away we can see this is one of the cards that I was talking about that is very different from what we are used to. The Five of Vessels would be the Five of Cups, and she is beautiful, she is dancing, she is celebrating. The thing about that is the Five of Cups is a card of grief. But if you look back into different backgrounds, different cultures, a lot of times we were taught to celebrate someone's life instead of grieving their death. And this is very true. I don't know about across, everywhere, but in Ireland, this was very true. So for the deck itself, it makes sense that the Five of Cups, a card generally associated with grief, would be one of ecstasy as we celebrate someone's life. So moving into that, the suits have been renamed. We've got the stones for the pentacles, the arrows for the swords, the bows for the wands, and the vessels, like we saw before, for the cups. Stones as pentacles makes so much sense to me. It's the earth suit. It works really, really well. The vessels as cups makes a lot of sense. We're looking at water there. My only thoughts on where that can be a bit of an issue is that I originally found the bows and arrows to be confusing, because arrows are generally lined up with Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. And so I really wanted to make the arrows the wands. And when you are lining them up along with the traditional meanings, the bows and arrows, again, don't necessarily follow along exactly the way you would expect them to. And as such, even trying to rectify it made it a little bit harder to figure out which were bows and which were arrows. That said, once you get into that flow, it is pretty easy. And they kept the court cards with the same names, which I always appreciate. So again, the meanings in spirit are very much there. If you are more of an advanced reader, you should be able to see where they're going with, especially if you are versed at all in Celtic traditions. I love the Wheel of Life angle that they look at. There are a lot of parallels. It just takes some getting used to. So if you're a beginner, you might want to be careful about that. They're really, really beautiful cards, and I'm a huge fan. So who is this deck good for? That's the green man. I love him. This deck is fabulous for people who are looking for a deck that they want to really commit to. Because it really is a great one to learn. It's a beautiful one to read with. But if you are learning the tarot, I would generally use a different deck first. But if you are wanting to have a specific tarot deck for you, this is an excellent one to learn on. If you like the Celtic pagan religions, culture. If you want to learn more there, it's perfect for you. It's great for advanced readers. The colors are really, really wonderful. I use it a lot. It has a certain sense of calm and grounding that makes it really great for a lot of readings. I am going to move into the reading for the week. Please let me know if there are any questions that you have about the deck. But I think if you are really drawn to it and you are either going to give it most of your attention, or you already have a collection and you're already pretty comfortable, it's a great deck for anybody. We are just going to do a little week ahead. We have the Six of Vessels or the Six of Cups, Reunion, the Ten of Vessels, Happiness, and the King of Stones, the Wolf. This is really beautiful. The Six of Cups, this Reunion card, as they have it, is a card of nostalgia, but also one of good memories. Like, this is a card where you allow your past to be your foundation, and all of the happy memories and everything that you loved about your younger years or earlier chapters, even if you can't carry them with you, this is a card of not trying to force things to be the same or to be like they used to be, but more to allow those feelings of comfort push you into something even better. The Ten of Vessels or the Ten of Cups is the card of happy endings. So it's allowing that background to push you into something even better now. Again, we do have that feeling of maybe complicated emotions, maybe still feeling a little bit like you'd like to look back, like you would like things to be more like they used to be, but ultimately being happy and content with where you are. And then we bring that with the King of Stones or the King of Pentacles, the Wolf. That is a card of leadership and generosity. That is a card of being so confident in who you are and what you do and in your resources and your ability to bring them in, to create them, to have enough that you are comfortable leading others to also be there. The King of Stones or Pentacles is often thought of as the captain of industry, the person who makes things happen, who is innovative, who is really in there. This isn't someone who just sits back and lets other people make money for them. This is somebody who is actively working to make sure that there are better things out in the world and that he is comfortable and everyone around him is comfortable. So all in all, we're looking at a pretty good week ahead. Let me know if there's other decks you'd like to see. Thank you ahead of time for liking and subscribing and coming back for other pick-a-piles and deck reviews. Have a great week.